First of all, welcome to my talk. Hello, everyone. My name is F, or Evgeny. I'm a CTO at SystemSeed. We work in social impact space, serving organizations that genuinely make this world a better place. Here are some of the names of our clients who we work with. You can find some fairly known charitable and social impact organizations, some of the universities. So, to kick off this talk, I would like to make sure that we have a shared understanding of what engineering culture really means. In my view, it is a set of agreed upon practices, processes, and mindset that a team follows, both individually and collectively, and expect others to follow too. A useful way to think about this is by comparing it to national cultures. When you move to a new country, you experience a unique mix of history, traditions, social norms, and laws, and other things that shape how people behave. Take Spain, for example. If you've ever been there, you might have noticed how deeply they embedded into sports. You'll find them playing tennis, playing football, doing all other sorts of activities. And if you happen to move to Spain, you would very quickly find yourself into any kind of sports too. That's because your friends are doing sports, probably a part of your family would be doing sports, so you would join those sports activities too. Oops. So this is a great example how culture, sorry, my mouse is gone. There we go. Extended view problem. This is a great example how culture influences behavior, and the same principles apply to the engineering teams. The culture you create, whether it's intentional or not, shapes how people work, collaborate, and grow together. I'm in tech for almost 20 years, working across a wide range of companies. Service providers, product companies, offshore, nearshore teams, and as a contractor. I've been helping and consulting some of the organizations to make their engineering processes and culture better. So I've got quite a wide exposure inside of the company's engineering culture, and I've had a pleasure to witness what works, what helps companies succeed, and what makes them struggle. So initially, I actually planned to focus solely on the culture we've built at SystemSeed, something that I'm personally incredibly proud of. But then I thought, what is the value, what kind of value will it give to you, to the audience? Because we all come from different backgrounds, work with different companies, for different organizations. So if my experience would resonate with yours, then you would walk out of this room saying that this was a waste of your time. So instead, I've structured this talk differently. I structured this as a comparison of different aspects that shape engineering culture that may apply to your organization. And I will explain what we and how we do certain those aspects at SystemSeed. Now, here comes the fun part. You will be part of my talk. It's too late to escape. The doors are closed. Yep. So get comfortable and let me explain. Oh, they're not closed, obviously. It was just a cool way of saying it. So get comfortable and let me explain how you all will be involved. I have built a small interactive app. It's a website that I would like you all to open. It is simple. Throughout the talk, I'll present different aspects of engineering culture using two fictional companies, Company A and Company B. Your job, choose the one that's closer to the culture within your team organization. If neither applies, feel free to skip, no pressure. The app will show aggregate results in real time, so we will get a live snapshot of the culture across this audience. And after each topic, I will reset the votes, and we will move on to the next thing. I've got a very big reset button over here, so that I don't miss it out. So here's a QR code and the URL. If you can't see it, the URL is culture.systemseed.com. I highly encourage everybody to join. Let's make this interactive. It's supposed to be fun. So while you're loading the website, let me set some expectations. There is no right or wrong engineering culture. Every aspect that we will discuss today is just a reflection of a company's current state of things and the historical decisions that led to it. I understand that we all work with different organizations, and so there is no one-size-fits-all solution. My goal here is to help you identify the areas for improvement. So I'm here not to judge what's good and what's bad. So be bold in your choices. Participation is completely anonymous. I'm not saving this data. It is just the purpose of this talk. To get everyone comfortable with the format, let's start with some simple aspects. So, Company A. During recruitment, Company A focuses primarily on engineering skills. Other skills are largely ignored. Company B seeks for alignment with company culture and values as well as engineering skills. At SystemSeed, our first round of interviews is all about the cultural fit. We operate in social impact space, actively contribute to open source, and follow a set of core principles that guide our work. Because of this, it's important that new hires share a genuine passion for these areas. And you know why? Because working with people that have shared moral compass, shared vision, makes it much... they tend to share similar vision for all different aspects of work and life, making it just naturally... it makes things naturally easier to work with, within the team that shares your principles by design. So let's look at the votes. It's almost 50-50 split. That's interesting. So 26 people, 27. Well, that's a result. 2/3 of the audience here do check for the culture. That's incredible. Let me reset the votes. So, cool. Moving on. Company A provides onboarding sufficient for new hire to start working. Doesn't give clear guidance how to operate within the team, communication rules, who to reach out in different cases, and so on. Whereas Company B quite deeply onboards new hires into tools, processes, clients, and culture. And they also provide a dedicated onboarding buddy. At SystemSeed, we place strong emphasis on structured and guided onboarding. Every new hire goes through a comprehensive onboarding processes, starting with personal introductions to our tools, to our systems, projects, and team, and so on. To ensure a smooth transition, for engineering team, we set up a sandbox project where engineers with their onboarding buddy can go through all aspects of the delivery process. They have a task. They get to write the first acceptance criteria, test steps, experience how Q&A works, experience how DevOps works, how we deploy, how we merge things, and basically it focuses on making sure that the person is ready to work on real projects. For new lead engineers, I personally dedicate time each week during the first couple of months for more deep dive discussions in a sort of ask me anything type of conversations where we discuss company history, background that led to certain decisions. We look at different projects within the company, talk about clients, talk about the future. We deep dive into the technical aspects of working inside of the company, talk about DevOps. Basically, what it helps for those new hires is to build context and build awareness, as well as start building the culture of transparency and trust. Majority of people here are doing this. That's a very good result. Almost 70% are on this page. Fabulous. And for 30%, I've got great news. there is a room for improvement. So let's talk about the next aspect, code reviews. Well, I'm sure that code reviews take a special place in every engineer's heart. Company A, code changes are silently accepted and merged when everything looks great, with little to no acknowledgement. When improvements are needed, feedback is delivered bluntly, often feeling negative or discouraging. Code reviews can take days or even weeks before someone looks at pull request or merge request. Accepted code changes are acknowledged. Oh, I'm talking about company B here. Accepted code changes are acknowledged with small celebration, fostering a culture of appreciation and recognition for the effort. And company B does the other thing. When revisions for the code are needed, feedback is given in an educational and constructive manner, explaining the issue, referencing documentation or guidelines, and helping developers learn and grow. This was the most voted one so far. 60 people voted, 59. And that's brilliant that the majority of the audience here follows the best practices. At SystemSeed, we believe that everyone best works to the best of their abilities. And when mistakes happen, they happen usually due to a lack of knowledge in a certain area. And growth mindset is encouraged through learning from code reviews and feedback. A practical approach to constructive feedback is asking thoughtful questions, such as, have you considered the impact on X, Y, and Z? How will this code handle service disruption? How will the team be alerted if there is an error in this integration? Code reviews, and I want to stress on it, code reviews are deeply personal for engineers as they involve critical feedback. If feedback is delivered harshly, it can demotivate team members, hinder collaboration. This would contribute to burnout and frustration, ultimately leading to toxic environment. So giving effective feedback in code reviews is a skill itself. You could probably write an entire book on this subject. I'm resetting the votes. Cool. Let's move on. Divas. That's my favorite topic. Company A employs highly skilled developers who largely outweighs their importance to the company and believe they are always right and tend to dismiss others' opinions. I'm sure you might have thought of someone right now. Company B avoids hiring such developers or brings them in only temporary to complete specific tasks. While at SystemSeed currently we don't have such developers with this mindset, and if we ever do, like I said on the previous slide, that would be someone temporary to fulfill a contractual position. The challenge with such individuals is that they make it almost impossible to foster a healthy engineering culture. They often dismiss others' opinions, resist feedback, communicate in a toxic manner, and create unnecessary friction within the team. I understand that these developers can be highly skilled, and it might be tempting for the management to keep them, hoping that the team will adapt. But the truth is, it never works, and it will make things much more difficult. In fact, some companies go a step further and promote their most technically skilled developers to lead positions without considering their ability to support and uplift the team. When highly skilled but difficult personalities become lead developers, they completely ruin engineering culture, and it ruins trust, it ruins collaboration. So I guess my point here is that we should be mindful of this dynamic, and when building your teams, make sure that you're prioritizing culture as well as the engineering expertise. That was 50-50 split. That's an interesting result, isn't it? 37 people voted. Knowledge sharing. So company A lacks a dedicated space for knowledge sharing within the team that collaborates daily and doesn't have a structured company-wide knowledge sharing initiatives. While company B holds regular meetings with the engineering team to celebrate achievements, share learnings, and discuss challenges, and organizes company-wide sessions for engineers from different teams to exchange insights, share success, and collaborate on problem solving. Sorry, I forgot to reset the votes. Let's do it once again. Thank you. While preparing for this session, I polled my engineering team what they value most about our engineering culture. The number one response was actually the knowledge sharing. Many described it as a game changer, something that they had rarely experienced in their previous companies. They highlight how helpful it is to stay up to date on challenges, ideas, and solutions, prevent teams from reinventing the wheel, and foster collaboration. At SystemSeed, we actively promote both project-specific and company-wide knowledge sharing. Large projects, they have dedicated spaces where developers can deep dive into specific problems of their projects. It's kind of a safe space for developers. No clients, no stakeholders, no managers, just devs talking about the problems within the project. Sometimes they miss the right comfort zone to discuss technical depth and some of the problems that can lead to unpredictable results. So this space for developers is largely important. Then every 2 weeks, we hold a global engineering call where we share learnings. Somebody can say, hey, I've learned this tool, let me share my screen, show it to you. Or somebody could go, like, I've got a problem, I don't know how to solve it, can somebody advise? And the whole team of engineers within the whole company would help to solve the problem. And what's cool about this is that we solve problem just once, and the whole engineering team would know, again, across the company, would know how to solve similar problem if it arrives. This approach accelerates learning and growth, enabling us to build a strong foundation for our engineering practices as well as a DevOps solution. That's great. It looks, according to the voting app, that majority of the people have the same experience that we do. It's excellent news. Don't forget to reset the votes. Done. Brilliant. Standardization and reusability. Company A starts each new project almost from scratch with little to no standardization. Each team follows its own DevOps, development and deployment practices. Developers use different tools, operating systems, IDEs, and local setups. Whereas Company B thinks a little bit different. Company B has a framework for setting up new projects, ensuring standardized DevOps and delivery practices. Teams collaborate across the company to maintain a shared foundation for development. Developers work in a consistent environment using the same operating system, IDE, and local setup. Oh, the results are quite unexpected. There's a lot of room for improvement here. Looks like 2/3 of the audience could do a little better. So, at SystemSeed, we prioritize standardization across all aspects of development whenever possible. It starts with hardware. Every engineer, when joins SystemSeed, receives their own MacBook on M chip. We use common IDE for development. We use the same Docker-based local setup for local development environment, ensuring consistency from the beginning. Beyond that, we've built a boilerplate that serves as a foundation for our DevOps practices and a skeleton for any kind of engineering that we may want to do. this DevOps solution, it standardizes developer commands across projects, frameworks, and architectures. Regarding of the tech stack, we use the same commands, for example, to pull the database from hosting environment or to deploy something to a dev environment that would be production like clone in the cloud. What's cool about this solution is that we put years of engineering towards one basically DevOps solution, and then each time when one team meets an issue, they solve it once, contribute back to this base DevOps solution, and then other teams would get it automatically without needing to solve this problem again. I could talk more about this, but I guess the idea here is simple. Standardization and reusability fosters collaboration and reinforce and dry, do not repeat yourself culture. We believe in eliminating engineering repetitive tasks so that engineers can focus on solving unique client problems rather than wasting their time on routine setup and maintenance. All right, looking at the app, it's almost 50-50 split. Not as bad as it was in the beginning. Reset all votes. Brilliant. Open source and community. Company A does not contribute back to open source communities and initiatives and has no active presence or engagement in the wider tech community, whereas Company B is actively involved in open source communities, contributing code, sharing knowledge, and supporting industry-wide collaboration. Look at the numbers. Majority of the audience here are not actively involved. I would expect actually the opposite situation, because you're all here. How is it possible? Open source communities, especially the Drupal community, are endless source of inspiration and knowledge. They bring together some of the most passionate and talented people who freely share their experience and work together to create a better future. One of the biggest mistakes I think the company can make is isolating itself, operating in silo with no exposure to the broader tech world. It's like if somebody likes playing tennis and they ever play tennis only with their friends. Well, there is nothing wrong with that, but they miss countless opportunities for growth and will never reach the level of professional competition. At SystemSeed, we contribute to hundreds of projects and are actively present at the community events, both as participants and speakers. For us, open source means more than just contributing code. It's about being part of something bigger, continuously learning and evolving as professionals. Well, since you're all here, I should skip the motivation part. I'm sure you already understand the importance of being part of the community in shaping a strong engineering culture. Instead, I just wanted to double down on the importance of growing the team culture that is about joining community events, contributions, and learning together. Looking at the numbers, they're quite interesting because it looks like 72% of people out of 39 votes are not active in the community. That is a score to think about. Transparency. Thank you. You will be my guy, okay? In case if I forget. So, Company A, developers rarely interact with stakeholders. They lack visibility into the impact of their work. They are not informed about the project roadmaps or strategic direction. Whereas in Company B, developers regularly meet and engage with stakeholders directly. They have access to measurable insights on the impact of their work, and they have a clear understanding of the project's future. This was the second most valued aspect mentioned by my team. Full transparency fosters a stronger connection between engineering team and the product that they build. It empowers developers to be more self-sufficient, make better real-time decisions, help stakeholders prioritize more efficiently. At SystemSeed, developers interact with clients on a daily basis, whether through regular stand-up events or Slack discussions, sprint reviews, sprint plannings. They also go to workshops where they get exposure to the business insights, to some of the numbers and the actual impact of their work. I would like to share with you one example. We regularly send our delivery team to client workshops to deep dive into problems, help break down priorities, and shape solutions together. One of our lead developers attended a workshop with a large charity organization for the first time. She did work with them before, but she didn't see them in person ever. So that was her first time. And when she got back, she called me saying, "Ev, these people are incredible. They believe in their mission. And now I do believe in it too. And they trust us completely. We have no way of letting them down." She was in tears. This project turned to be a huge success, not just because of the technical execution, but because of the genuine connection and shared purpose. You can't transfer this level of passion and personal commitment through the middle management. It simply doesn't work like that. I've also seen the opposite scenarios in different companies where lack of transparency and distanciating developers from the stakeholders led to largely over-engineered solutions, making it very expensive and very inefficient. So my strapline for this slide is transparency isn't just a cultural value, it is a powerful driver of success. I'm glad to see that 2/3 roughly of the audience are on the right track. For people who clicked company A, I still have a great news, which is a room for improvement. Feedbacks.
Reset.
I will own you a beer. Company A, feedback is rare and usually only given when something goes wrong. No regular scheduled feedback sessions, no culture of providing feedback to leadership. Whereas in Company B, she holds structured, regular feedback meetings, encourages a culture of ad hoc feedback, both when things go wrong and when they go exceptionally well. And anybody can book a one-to-one feedback session with anyone. Feedback is one of the most powerful tools to grow. At SystemSeed, we believe that feedback should be balanced, highlighting areas for improvement while also recognizing achievements. If feedback is only negative, it can make people feel like their work isn't valued, leading to demotivation. However, if it's only positive, then it can create a false feeling of that everything's perfect, causing issues to accumulate and eventually lead to unpredictable results. So, to ensure structured approach, at SystemSeed we have monthly feedback sessions for new hires during their first couple of months. The annual feedback cycles combined with the performance and the goal reviews. And what's probably most important is those ad hoc feedback meetings where improvements and achievements are recognized as soon as they are noticed. Equally important is making feedback be directional. It shouldn't just flow from top down. It should also go from staff to leadership. Honest feedback helps leadership stay grounded in the reality, making more informed decisions and foster a culture of trust and continuous improvement together. I think this distinguish between a boss and a leader, and this is a fundamental difference. A boss gives orders, but a leader listens, learns, and evolves alongside with the team. Reset. leadership. Leadership does not always follow the same standard and practices they set for the team. In Company B, leadership leads by example, upholding the same standards, values, and expectations that they set for others. I did reset, did I? I have a fear of not resetting it. Personally, I firmly believe that the only effective way to build and sustain an engineering culture is to lead by example. If the leadership team expects engineers to be active in the community, they should be active themselves. If they promote a culture of giving and receiving feedback, they must embrace and practice it themselves. Like I said before, this is what separates a boss from a leader. Boss gives instructions, but a leader demonstrates how they facilitate the engineering practices they advocate for. Culture isn't dictated, it is demonstrated. That's a beautiful result. 80% of people are on the right track. So, final notes. As a wrap-up, I want to acknowledge that engineering culture is a much broader topic than what I covered today. It is an ongoing process that only requires continuous effort to identify areas for improvement. And while cultural changes take time, it always worth the effort. Recently, just to share with you one other real-life example, recently one of my engineers shared something that resonated with me. He said, you know, Ev, I think I struck my balance. Every morning, I wake up with a genuine peace of mind. I enjoy taking my kids to school. I enjoy my work. I genuinely enjoy every aspect of my life. That means a lot to me. Because at the end of the day, a strong engineering culture is not just about the processes and the technical excellence. It's about creating an environment where people thrive, both professionally and personally. So if at any point you selected company A in the app, I admit I'm a little jealous, because that means that you are on a journey towards building a more supportive work environment. And that's all I could ever hope for. Thank you so much for coming. Any questions? I will be at the, how's it called? Community event? At the Brewdog? Drinks. I'll join drinks. So if anybody wants to catch me there, I will be there. Or any other questions are very welcome. Thank you.